News that we are getting in from Kohlapur in Maharashtra, where there is high drama that has erupted in Kohlapur after three youngsters had put up a WhatsApp status yesterday, which led to disputes between two communities. And after that status went viral, there was stone pelting by a few that was reported. And now we've been told that an FIR has been registered against them. But the protest really continues. There is this entire situation has gone from bad to worse. Like you can see in the visuals, after the stone pelting, the police really came onto the ground where there were members of two communities who were sparring with one another, even resorting to stone pelting. And to actually take care of the situation, there was FIR that was also registered. My colleague Yasha Kotak is also joining us on the broadcast to offer more perspective on the story. Yasha, even as tensions continue to emerge from Kohlapur, just give our viewers a background of this entire WhatsApp status war. I believe some outfits, some right-wing outfits had also called for a Kohlapur Bandh. What is happening on that regard, and what do we know about this FIR that's now been registered?
So, yesterday we understand that there were three youngsters who put a WhatsApp status. Now, this WhatsApp status, in fact, led to some kind of communal disharmony among two groups, as a result of which there was stone pelting that took place at Kohlapur itself. And following this today, a Kohlapur Bandh was called in by one of the community. In fact, this WhatsApp status, we understand, has come to light on the lines of Shivraji Abhishek Day, which is where this particular status which is put against Shivaji Maharaj upsetted a community. This in fact incident was brought to light before the police officials. However, considering that these three have been juvenile, the police is still introspecting as to what action needs to be taken against them. However, those who resorted to stone pelting, an FIR was registered against them. This again led to even more violence. Today we have seen that a Kohlapur Bandh has been organized. There has been huge crowd gathered at Kohlapur, and the entire mob is also turning violent. So this is why now the Kohlapur police is investigating this case, and some of the areas in Kohlapur which are quite sensitive are being monitored by the police. Yes.
Also, Yasha, do we know about more police deployment in the area? Because from what we see in the visuals, this is a huge gathering. The crowd has actually spilled down to the street from the two communities, stone pelting at one another, despite the bandh. What do we know about the police bandobas and the arrangement there?
So, of course, the police are taking cognizance of this. There's been tight police bandobas at several locations, which includes Sadar Bazaar, Akbar Mohalla. These are some sensitive locations that we understand from the Kohlapur police that are being monitored. Also, apart from that, the particular protest site, which is the main area of Kohlapur, the Shivaji statue, which is there around that, which is where these people have gathered, and folks have been instructed to ensure that the mob does not spill over, does not lead to any kind of a violent situation, because there was already violence which was reported yesterday. So as a result of this, some of the sensitive areas in the city are being monitored by cops.
Do we know about whether Section 144 has been imposed in the area or not, Yasha?
As long as there's no clarity from the cops about whether Section 144 has been imposed Kohlapur or not. However, we'd have to wait it out, considering that the situation right now looks a little sensitive, particularly in this area. And considering that this involves two communities, cops are taking cognizance of this.
And one final question that I'd like you to actually explain to our viewers. These people who have the FIR registered against them, that is because of the stone pelting that was reported from the area. This is not the juveniles, the minors who were involved in putting up the status. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Because after the status was put up by a juvenile who's where it hurted one community, and on the basis of which there was stone pelting that took place, there was a mob that got on street, and FIR has been registered against this mob. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Yasha. Let me also bring in our colleague from Network 18, Preeti Sompura, who's joining us on the broadcast. Preeti, would you be able to ascertain for our viewers how really is the situation currently in Kohlapur?
The situation is totally under tension in Kohlapur. Now the police has done the lathi charge on the people who go for the massive protest, and in that protest, more than 2,000 people gather at the choke area of the Kohlapur. And when the police came to know that situation is out of hand, during that time, police did the lathi charge on this protester. Meanwhile, the situation is very tense, and within a few minutes from now, the Deputy CM and the Home Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, will take a press conference, and he will appeal the people of the Kohlapur to maintain the law and order situation. And meanwhile, the Deputy CM already spoke with the DGP of Maharashtra, Mr. Rajni Seth, regarding the situation.
We are still awaiting that press conference to happen from Devendra Fadnavis. While we await that, Preeti, what do we know about the law and order preparedness in the situation? How are they planning to actually ascertain that there is no further violence that is erupted from that area? I was asking our colleague Yesha also this question. Do we know about whether Section 144 has been imposed or not?
Yes, the police will impose the Section 144 in Kohlapur. Yesterday also some violence took place in the Ahmednagar area of the Maharashtra. And today in Kohlapur the situation is tense, and more than 2,000 people gather for the protest, because one community people put one status which is very objectionable. On that, some Hindu organization took a rally in Chowk area of Kohlapur. And when the situation goes out of control during that time, police did a lathi charge on them.
Okay. And how much can you ascertain this fact for us, that there was some right-wing outfits who had called in for a bandh in Kohlapur, Preeti?
Yeah, some of the protesters has come out on the street, and after that, when situation goes out of the hand, police did a lathi charge. And now already the Deputy CM of Maharashtra, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, already spoke to the DGP of Maharashtra regarding the situation, and it's likely that more force will be moved to the Kohlapur to maintain the law and order situation.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Preeti. Let me go back to my colleague Yesha, who continues to be with us. Yesha, this was also a rally that was taken out against the WhatsApp status, after which tensions really erupted. If you could once again reiterate that aspect for our viewers to understand the background of this case, where did it actually spring up from? How did matters really escalate? When did the stone pelting really start?
So in fact, like you mentioned, this incident came to forth because the celebrations of Shri Chhatrapati Maharaj's coronation day were being held at various locations across the state, following which these juveniles, they have put a WhatsApp status which was demeaning and which went against Shivaji Maharaj, which did not go well with these Hindu organizations. On the basis of these WhatsApp status, when it went viral, was when there was a stone pelting that took place in Kohlapur. On the basis of the stone pelting, an FIR was registered against these people. Because an FIR was registered against these people who were on streets, the mob turned violent. They decided to have a Kohlapur bandh today, and that's where this huge protest has erupted on streets. Yes.
Okay. And what is the police really mentioning now about the law and order situation and the preparedness, Yesha? Before we await that press conference that Preeti was talking about is all set to happen, and this will be presided over by Devendra Fadnavis?
So as of now, the cops are saying that they're trying to maintain the law and order situation, but what you see is that the situation has turned violent in Kohlapur. People who were protesting at one location have still across various parts of the city. There have been several public vehicles which have been damaged by them. Considering that the situation has turned violent, this matter has, like Preeti mentioned, has been brought to the matter of the state government. Considering Devendra Fadnavis is the Home Minister, he's responsible for the law and order in the state. Now he'll be issuing the statement on behalf of the police officials in order to ensure and ask people to maintain their calm in Kohlapur.
Yesha, any arrests that have been made after the FIR?
So this FIR has led to arrests, whereas we await the number of arrests that have taken place in this case. This was in fact done by police to ensure that the law and order situation does not turn violent in Kohlapur, but that's not been the case. It is only after the FIR was where we saw